we've been doing it.
Hey! Hey!
It's the Daily Joe.
It's the Daily Joe. Welcome back. How are you doing today, Joe?
2 big cups of coffee in, so I'm going to talk fast, and we have a short show.
Yeah, it's a short show because we both need to use the bathroom. Excellent. Nice. Well, let's jump right into it. I'm Steve Daly, everybody that's listening, a local real estate agent in town here in Willimantic. I still operate in the whole Eastern Connecticut region, but a lot of my focus is here in town, and especially with my kids here and growing up here. A lot of investment, a lot of excitement about the stuff that's happening, things that are developing, and what we can all do together to make our town even better.
And I'm Joe Pliss. I live out in the Wyndhams, as they say, and been involved in various committees to help make this town a better place.
And you certainly do that.
All right, I try.
Every day I see you on the street, I know my life is better, so I can imagine that others are all feeling that as well.
Well, thank you very much. What do we have today? We got 3 quick things. We're going to talk about Willimantic today.
Boom,
One of
boom.
our favorite subjects. There's always something to talk about there.
Always.
We're going to talk about our journey. Following the journey, we'll talk about that again, and then the Little Green Man saga.
The Little Green Man saga. I'm excited about that. But you're right, we can't jump to that. Let's start with Willimantic today and what the people are talking about in town. And I don't know if anyone experienced this last night, but we got a little bit of rain.
Yeah, I got a flood right around my feet, right while I was on a web conference call, and it was torrential. But there had been floods already this week, and on Willimantic today, you can see these incredible pictures of roads inundated. I think the thing that was most alarming were those poor people that lived downhill from the high school.
Yeah.
And it was just a muddy mess. I saw something where some of the water got up to, was it the roof of the car? Or, I mean, it was up high.
Oh, I didn't see that.
I didn't see that.
That's insane.
I read something along those lines. Maybe it wasn't that spot, but I think those people are in a world of hurt, and they have some grievances for sure.
Yeah, from the erosion control that maybe wasn't properly managed, or the water preparation control. Not that I'm here to put blame on a bunch of people, but we do get floods like this on almost a yearly basis. It's not super rare, I wouldn't say. So yeah, it's interesting that there wasn't maybe more preparation done for this. I will say some places I was driving, like down Ash Street yesterday, I was impressed with how much water was going into the sewer and being gobbled up and taken away by that. So some good points on that too, but certainly I know from people posting, not everywhere around town had such good water
We
management.
had some trouble spots around Main, some spots even on Main Street and Valley.
Yeah.
But the people, like, what you should not see is it being a brown coffee like mess. It shouldn't be like creamed coffee showing up in your garage and covering your yard.
Right.
Like that's a bad situation.
Right, because that's not just water, is it?
No.
That's a lot of earth coming from somewhere that should have had maybe better erosion control put in place.
I mean, every one of these construction sites, like the school or building a new, like part of the so-called site plan is plans for erosion control. So that is a step in approved planning processes to prevent this kind of situation.
Oh, okay. See, I didn't even know that.
Yes.
I just thought you start digging and, I don't know, good luck. So there's a big plan.
So I have been on the Planning and Zoning Commission for a few years, and those site plans are really hard to understand, especially if you're not a trained professional. But it's something that is reviewed every time. So, and it's not just the people on the Planning and Zoning Commission that review those site plans, but town people as well. So I'm sure there's going to be some investigation to try to figure out like what happened there. Was the inadequate planning? Was the original game plan just not ready for this kind of inundation of rain, or was it not followed through?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess we'll find out. That's really interesting. But yeah, man, I do feel for all the people that were negatively impacted by all that rain.
Yeah.
My goodness.
All right.
Next section, because we got to use
So we have the journey, what we call the journey.
The journey, the 4 steps.
The 4 steps towards incremental improvement in our town, in any town. Maybe you want to walk through them real quickly and then talk about our specific use case.
Absolutely. Our particular journey. But for anyone looking to make any kind of change in town, these are the 4 steps that we are experimenting with and using ourselves here. So follow along with us. Step 1 is to humbly observe where people in the community struggle, right? And of course, objectively observing others is great, but also you can use your own personal struggles on that as well. And then step 2 is to ask the question, what's the next smallest thing we can do right now to address that struggle? Step 3, do it. Go do that thing. Do it right now. Get it done, no matter how big, no matter how small. And then step 4 is, get the feedback and repeat, adjust as necessary, and take the next step. So something overwhelming like making any kind of change, especially in a town that you don't necessarily own, but it's okay to take ownership of, and doing these small steps.
So this really emphasizes doing something really small that's based on actual conversations of people that are in that situation, and then being humble enough to observe what the response is to that. Like that's a magic formula. So we said we're gonna do this with something, and that's our journey.
And this is our journey.
So where are we with our journey?
Welcome to our journey, everyone. And great question, Joe. Where are we? Can you, remind the people of what journey we decided to take here?
What is that journey? I know it involved a conversation with the town engineer, Brian Tarbell.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Were we trying to slow traffic down somewhere?
Yeah. So the struggle that we identified is a personal one of mine, and I think you walk these streets, and in walking these streets with my kids, I've talked to other people, and I had a client come visiting me that got T-boned at this intersection. But our struggle is the corner of Lewiston and Church Street. That is the struggle that we have identified and are trying to address. And of course, we're not experts, but the whole point of this system is you don't have to be an expert to make a small change. So the first small step that we thought that we could do was to email Brian Tarbell.
Yeah, he's the new town engineer. Maybe he's been with us for about a year. Great guy. Doing good stuff already.
Great guy. So I went ahead, and that was the next smallest step. So took it.
You took it. You sent an email to Brian Tarbell. Did he actually respond?
Absolutely. Yeah, wow. He sure did. So guys, this stuff works.
That was easy.
I'll tell you what. So I was saying, just so you recap of what I told him was, hey, there's this issue here. People get hit. There are near misses. Near misses, do those get reported? No. So no one's going to know or
Everybody
do a
just
change.
knows about it.
Right. Maybe it gets reported on Willimantic today. But
I think I've had a near miss trying to.
That's not data that they can use to actually implement change, right? So we need to do these emails. We need to speak up about this to the proper sources. I think Willimantic today is still good for making sure that people are aware, but if you want to actually create change, you have to take it a step further.
All right, so what did we get from Mr. Tarbell?
So great guy, yeah. So he really appreciated the input. He flagged the intersection to spend some more time reviewing, and then he actually did a subsequent email just to make sure that I knew what was going on there, and he's doing a safety assessment on the intersection.
He followed up without you following up with him.
That's right. A double follow-up from him.
That's impressive.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I love this guy. Follow-up, doing a safety assessment, look at what the best options are for improvements. I put potentially a soft stop sign.
Everybody thinks stop sign.
I'm not a town engineer. I don't know the best thing. That's just my layman's thing. Everyone needs to stop here. Stop hitting each other.
I've done some research since that last one, and there's like mixed feedback on the efficacy of stop signs, especially where sort of no one's looking. People will tend to blow through stop signs, and that could give people a false sense of safety that a stop sign is there. So there might need to be other.
Right, it gives you someone to blame in an accident or in a crash, but it doesn't necessarily stop the crash.
So maybe it helps a little. Maybe it's a mixed bag, and I'm sure Brian's got input on that. But other road design features that slow traffic down might be called for, and I think this is going to lead us into
Yeah.
Little green man territory.
I think so, and I'm so excited to talk about that. I just want to wrap up, I guess, this part of the journey with the second part of Brian's second follow-up email, which is I have some he says I have some improvements planned for several intersections at other streets, and it's good to have this as part of that running list. So I'm really excited to see how that, what that list is. I did do a quick reply, knowing, appreciating it. And so my next step, I guess, on this journey is to now do another follow-up if I don't hear, within a week.
So what I hear from that is he's actually working on this problem. It's not just that intersection. Mm-hmm. So he must have a priority list.
Yeah.
And so he's working that list. And maybe we'll have to keep an eye on it to see how far down the list Lewiston and Church is.
Yeah.
It might be a squeaky wheel that gets the oil.
I think, the longer I've been an adult, I find that the squeaky wheel is the best way to go.
And maybe we'll have to think about, getting more neighborhood support to help highlight the interest in doing something as a next step in our journey.
Sure. Yeah. So that's this intersection journey with the town. Is this a good time to jump to? I think everything you're talking about, community involvement.
In step 4 in the journey is an experiment.
Yes. Yeah,
and
that's true.
So, try something. And so you went out and you did something.
I did something else. Yeah. Well, with the recommendation of my brother, who's part of his community up in Portland, Maine, where he's found that some other measures besides stop signs have been helpful at potentially dangerous intersections. And that is to put a little green person out there with a flag. It's called.
We see them all the time. It looks like a little frog, which is great for this town, with a flag.
Right.
He's got a little baseball cap on or something like that.
That's right. It's called the Kid Alert, Step 2 Kid Alert Street Safety. You can get it off of Amazon, everyone. The little green person that stands out there with a flag kind of looks like a frog. And slows cars down.
Those things are everywhere. Everybody knows what it means.
Yeah, you guys know what I'm talking about, right? I bought 2 of them. I put one outside of my house because, holy cow, we don't have sidewalks.
Right, and you have a straightaway.
Straightaway. It's not frequently traveled, but when it is, someone that might know, hey, I could use this as a cut-through, they go quick. They go quick on it. So I put one there. I put one at that corner, Lewiston and Church. And immediately walking my dog around there and observing that intersection, cars slowed down.
Ah, that's incredible.
Really effective. So I bought that. I put it out there. I actually didn't, I don't want to block a sidewalk because now that would make it more dangerous for people walking. I actually put it in the road.
Right.
Up against the sidewalk, not a obstruction.
Well, it takes like a foot. It takes like a bumps out like maybe.
Yeah,
a
it's
foot.
like a foot. Yeah, a foot and a half maybe. So it's really not bad. It just reminds people to go slower right there. And I think a big part of, because I've done some reading too, slowing people down is really street design. And so actually having it in the street gives something for people to observe and respect and kind of
so it's a bump in a way. It's also a bump out.
A bump out is a street design thing. You want to expand on that?
This is something that
people might not know what that means.
If you have a street where you want to try to slow traffic, you could create like a little rounded area maybe at the intersection that creates it shrinks the width of the street. And it makes it easier for people to cross because they don't have as far to go. But also drivers have to slow down because it is a little bit more. It seems more dangerous, and people will adjust their driving to the smaller width.
You have to slow down to thread a needle,
right?
In a way.
And that's like people are used to responding to something like that, and that's a common feature. So going back to Lewiston and putting the little green man, just a foot in the road. It tells me that, maybe if there was a more permanent bump out right there, like that would create create drivers to hit the brake a little bit.
Right. I think what was really exciting from my observations was people went slower, but no one was delayed. No one was it hampered inhibited from driving on the road by this. It actually, even better than a stop sign, I think, from my observation, is just people driving a little more cautiously through that intersection instead of doing a full stop, and then a full start, which is a pretty jarring experience for the car and perhaps the driver and all that, and just using caution going through that section. So the flow of traffic kept going. People walking had a more pleasant experience, and not as nervous about cars rushing up. It's just a general cohesiveness to that corner just by putting this little thing there. So really interesting. And yeah, making it permanent, you're talking about a bump out. I'm 1,000% in support of that. Can I tell you why?
Yeah.
That little green person, they walked.
Somebody took the little green man.
Well, I mean, it's got legs, right?
Yeah. Oh, no.
Yeah, so it was really sad, actually. So we had him out there for probably 4 or 5 days, very successfully. I think on the 5th day, the flag went missing that the little green person holds. And then I think 2 days after that, gone. There's a daycare on that corner. Do you know about that?
Yeah.
So
yes, I do.
Right on that corner is a daycare where kids literally are every day. A part of their program is to go for walks. So they walk on those streets, and it kind of blew my mind that someone would remove this effective.
I'm sure they don't know what they're taking.
A safety device that really wasn't hurting anyone in their travels there, and removed it, and I don't know where it is or what's happening to it as we speak.
Was it taken during the day?
I went for a walk the night before, and it was there. So it must have been early morning, because I was walking. Sometimes dogs got to poop at midnight. So
maybe little green man has to come out in the morning and go back in the evening.
Why?
Because somebody will take it.
Well, I'm going to put GPS trackers on it.
Put a chip on it.
Yeah, I mean, so anyway, so you guys know, that's my plan actually, is to purchase some of those and to put them on it so that we can see what's happening there.
You can glue the flag on.
Yeah, because I want to. The Green Man journey is the little green safe kid alert thing is so interesting to me, because we're seeing, okay, it's really effective, but actually the community. Apparently some people like it, maybe some people don't, or maybe some people just think it's funny to take a little green person home with them. So
what's next in the journey?
Well, yeah, great. There's a couple things here. So one, when that little green person went missing, feedback from the community instantly from the people at the daycare, they're really hurt by that. I mean, they really appreciated this safer corner when they go for walks. Some of the kids really like seeing that little green person, and one of them was crying that it was gone. I know, that doesn't need to be all of our focuses as far as the kid crying, but keeping those kids safe, I think, is. There's
a lot of dog walkers. I wonder if we can get opinions from them.
I'm sure we could. Yeah, that's a really good idea.
Are you going to try to put another green man out there?
Well, so that's part 2, is the one in front of my house, right? That one was very effective. I noticed people slowing down there, which, oh my God, thank you so much to everyone that did respect that little green person and all the purpose for it being there and going slow and taking into consideration not just my kids but all the other people. It doesn't have to be a kid, but people that walk our streets and have every right to use those streets as much as a person in a car. Right. But here's the thing. My little green person in front of my house was also hit by a car. So whether someone intentionally, I don't think so, quite honestly, who would do that to their car, but maybe distracted driving, which proved to me how important it is to be there, because that could have been a person.
Yeah.
Easily. So I found it, clobbered down. I mean, it was in the morning, I heard it, and the car just kept going, and just hit, and so I put it back up. It's all good. And then I will say 2 days later, I did find it thrown into the bushes near the road too.
So there's some hostility maybe to it.
There's some hostility. I also, I kind of want to put a camera on these things to see what the public reaction is, because I can't assume what the purpose, like the
Right.
motivation. I don't know. I know I was a high school kid once.
Yeah.
And I might
It'd
do
be
some.
pretty tempting.
Right. It'd be a tempting thing to see how far I could throw it. So I think that's the next step, is to
All right.
get some more. and oh, sorry, the last part of this feedback, right, that we're learning from this is people in the community, after I posted a little something just on my personal Facebook story thing, right, you know about those, was, hey, how can I support this? And another person said, hey, I'm so excited to see that this little green person is still out there.
Oh, nice.
Because there was one person that observed it gone before and then saw the one in front of my house and said, that's great. So that's really positive, and I think we could do more. Yes, personally, I'll get some more and keep trying this, and maybe get a camera, maybe get a GPS tracker on it.
For scientific research.
Yeah, I mean, really, it's not to catch
people.
someone necessarily. It's to find out what is the motivation for people that are removing these. So if you have feedback, any listeners, about why you might want them removed or why this is
please
detrimental,
comment.
let us know, because we don't want to inhibit anyone's experience here in town. So far, my observation from seeing it out there was really that it enhanced the majority of the
Great.
people that were around it and impacted.
All right. I think that's it for our rapid fire session today.
Absolutely.
Nice talking to you. Ready for your shot?
Ready for our shot. This is a great way to start
Cheers.
a Thursday. Have a great day, everyone.